something, and she had not dissuaded him of these thoughts. "You have grown pretty, Isla. Don't think I haven't noticed." She bowed her head, not knowing what to say. "Will you walk with me, away from the village for a while?" He still held her hand, and his eyes twinkled. "I cannot. I will be missed. I must return to—" "Just for a short while. We will be back before anyone wakes up." Isla had been flattered and nervous, so let herself be persuaded. She followed him around the back lanes, terrified and excited, her headcloth pulled across her face in case she was recognized. What was she doing? She knew it was madness, but some unknown force was pushing her on. She still couldn't work out how it had happened. They had been walking, and then they had sat and talked about the heat and some of her friends in the village. He had said she was the only one he could think about, that she was driving him to distraction with her unblemished skin and graceful hands, that he would give up everything for just a glimpse of her wrist, her ankle, her neck. She had become dizzy under his warm gaze, and had raised her hand to her face, letting her sleeve drop to reveal the honey skin of her arm. He had smiled and bent to kiss the flesh on her forearm. The rest was a haze of heat and feeling. Unable to believe it had happened, she had cried afterwards, and he had soothed her with kisses and promises. They would be married. Her parents would be thrilled at the match. Either through her own eyes or those of a stranger, her childhood had been idyllic, a cocoon of love, warmth, joy, and innocence. Born to a family poor in money but rich in happiness, Isla had thrived and blossomed, secure in her skin. Her village was small and remote, with its own customs and traditions, strong family values, but no tolerance for any other way. Thus village life had been blissfully uneventful, until now. Her father was an artisan, the village potter, and she was the eldest of 4 daughters. She didn't doubt that her father would be thrilled at the match, as long as he didn't guess what had already happened. But his parents might not be so happy. She doubted that she was what they had planned for their only son. Of all her friends, she was probably the least likely to have done what she had done. Verena or Lakinia, she could imagine them giving in to a boy. She had heard them talk immodestly on more than a few occasions. But they would never in a million years believe that she could be so wanton. Well, she would never tell them, never tell anyone. It was her and Lysis's secret, one they would laugh about once they were married. And now a fingernail of sun slipped behind the hill as Ilia walked into the village carrying the heavy jug of water. It was quiet. Something felt different. She glanced around and strained her ears. There was no chatter, no clacking of pots as meals were prepared, no children playing outside. The dwellings were silent and still. She tiptoed cautiously up the main path and turned left as the eerie silence followed her. Had everyone fled? Had some foe attacked their peaceful village? Should she knock on someone's door and ask? She walked up to a house, set the jug of water on the ground, and raised her hand to rap on the door, but then lost her courage and lowered it again. She was too scared to make a sound in the echoing silence. Her throat felt dry. She scooped up some water from the urn and drank a few sips, then wiped her wet hands on her tunic and resumed her course towards home along the silent road. A dog barked twice, and a startled bird cawed. Her heart beat loud in her ears. The sun was halfway behind the hill now. Suddenly she made out a murmur of voices. As she walked, the murmur grew louder. It became a buzz and a hum, like a chattering crowd. She sensed fear? No, more like agitation and anger. The closer she got to home, the louder the noise. A new seed of worry began to grow in her chest. Ilia quickened her pace. A pearl of sweat formed at her breastbone and slid down towards her navel. She rounded the last corner and saw a gathering of people. It looked as though half the village was standing outside her house. Shafts of evening sunlight striped everyone with swirling dust motes. As she approached, the crowd gradually grew silent, and all eyes